We're now going to place our composite in the distal preparation on tooth number 14, occlusal. We need to begin with the end in mind, the final anatomy, and keep in mind that we're going to place the composite in increments that are thin enough to be cured so that the total shrinkage of the composite does not additively produce a gap between the composite and the tooth margins. We'll place our first increment and then use a condenser to carry that increment towards the axial and pulpal walls of the preparation. We'd like to overlay the material in a way where the composite is in contact with one side of the tooth preparation but not all the way across the preparation, so that when shrinkage occurs it shrinks towards the walls of its greatest contact. I'm actually removing a little composite here because I don't want to cure too thick of an increment, again, to avoid shrinkage. And we have an angular development of the composite along these walls, and the excess is removed out of the grooves. And now it's time to cure the composite for the appropriate interval. The appropriate interval is that interval that's in the instructions. Read the instructions that come with each product, know the intensity of the lights that you're using, and cure for that time. Our second increment is added, and in a layer I'm going to start to develop anatomy using this cone-shaped burnisher, also known as the Premier Carver. I'm moving from the central pit outward. One way to avoid the material sticking is to coat the instrument with composite resin. We used to talk about coating the instrument with alcohol, but that can contaminate the bond. We've developed approximately our final shape, and if we're careful about developing anatomy in our composites, very minimal finishing becomes necessary. That's ready to cure. I like the shape. We've got the time. Let's take it in the initial anatomy development before we cure. And I think we have the groove developed. We have the central pit. All of the margins are filled right to the cavo surface. It's time to cure. Now, checking with an explorer, we want to check to see that our margins are confluent with the adjacent tooth anatomy, that there are no underfills. An underfill is easily corrected at this time. And if there are overfills, well, we've just cost ourselves a little extra effort to move the material down to where it conforms to the anatomy. Composites can be a true restoration in terms of aesthetics. In this case, we've used a contrasting composite material so that you can better see the development of that composite on the occlusal number 14.